we are not rare. But before you leave, you will perceive the lore will be unlocked. You might be stalked by a Sasquatch or a ghost witch, possibly even a ghost that will boast about knowing the Ohio grassman or even the Michigan dogman. Werewolves hunt, poltergeists are up front, but in these backwoods folklore is unlocked.
Welcome to Folklore Unlocked. I'm Austin, and like always, I'm joined by Ethan.
Yep, hello again, everyone.
And this week, we are taking a look at the Mandela Effect. And the origins slash background is it's similar to a false memory occurrence involving more than likely a massive group of people, and the name comes from the memory of Nelson Mandela, the former president of South Africa, dying in prison in the 1980s.
And just to be clear, he did not actually die in prison in the 1980s, but that's one of the Mandela Effect things that people have false memories of.
Exactly. He believe he passed away in 2013.
Something like that.
If I'm remembering right. Funny I say that when this is about misremembering things.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's a lot of things on here that I know for sure I have misremembered, but one of these being Fruit of the Loom's logo. So if you look at both of these pictures, so on the left there we have how the Fruit of the Loom logo has changed within the years. So you can go back to 1893 and go all the way up to the current logo. And as you can see, there is no cornucopia there. But me and a lot of other people on the right here, this is what we remember here. We remember the fruits with the cornucopia in the back.
Which I also remember being a logo at one point.
Yeah, but I've looked up this in the past, and apparently they have never used a cornucopia, which still bothers me. I don't know. I feel like they had.
Yeah, I swear I remember commercials with the cornucopia.
Mm.
And up next, we've got the Berenstain Bears with an A versus the Berenstain Bears with an E. And this one really bothers me because I distinctly remember the Berenstain Bears with an E.
Oh, I do too, because I read most of the books that we had at our school for the Berenstain Bears, and I remember it with an E also. And I think I saw somewhere that there is some misprint books that do have an E instead of an A, but other than that, I don't think there has actually been a book that has it
The
wrote as there.
Berenstain
Yeah.
Bears.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's always been the Berenstain Bears.
Mm.
But,
I almost got tricked because I saw a clip on that someone had of The Simpsons, and it had a book that was the Berenstain Bears, but someone had done a really, really good editing of it and made it the Berenstain Bears, and I thought this is where it came from, but apparently it's just fake.
sadly.
Yeah. Then we have the Dark Vader's line to Luke. And famously, it was quoted by most people, even by James Earl Jones, who voiced Vader, Luke, I am your father. But that's not the actual quote. The actual quote is, no, I am your father. And I'll say this, hadn't watched the original Star Wars movies whenever I'd heard this quote. So I had just heard all these other people saying it as Luke, I am your father. So I thought it was Luke, I am your father. And then when I I eventually went and watched the originals, and I saw it's "No, I Am Your Father." I'm like, someone was messed up there.
Yeah, if even the original voice actor James Earl Jones, rest in peace, thinks it's Luke, I am your father, you tend to agree with the person that said the quote.
Yeah, it's literally coming from the voice of the actor.
Exactly. And then next up, we've got Curious George's tail or lack of tail. And on the left is actually what Curious George actually looks like. And on the right, we've got him with a tail.
Okay, now with Curious George, I don't remember him with a tail. That's one of these I actually do not remember. But I will say this: Curious George is supposed to be a monkey. Monkeys have tails. So Curious George is actually like an ape, like a chimp or something like that, since he doesn't have a tail. So this I feel like is more, oh, the creator just didn't give him a tail, and the people, like, he said he was a monkey, but then he's not actually a monkey. I don't know.
Say, I didn't watch Curious George all that much, but I do, like, I remember him, like, both ways.
Okay.
So, you know, little me thought, oh, just a design change or something.
Mm.
But apparently he never had a tail.
Hmm. Then we have Jif peanut butter versus Jiffy peanut butter, and I I thought it was Jiffy for a while until I started working at Walmart and I had to actually stock the peanut butter, and then I'm like, no, it's actually Jif. It's actually Jif.
Say, again, like Curious George, I remember it as Jiffy, and then sometime turning over to Jeff, and I just thought it was like a rebrand or something.
But it's always been Jif, correct?
Yeah, it's always been Jeff.
Okay.
And then next up, we've got Looney Tunes, Toons, or Looney Tunes, Tunes. Say, I kind of remember both ways, but apparently I think always been Looney Tunes with the like music tunes, Tunes.
Wait,
Yeah, it's always
it's actually been the Tunes.
yeah.
Oh, I thought it was. Oh crap. Okay, that's one that's got me. I thought it was the Toons, tunes.
Which would make more sense as tunes spelled with the two O's is how you'd spell cartoons,
Mm-hmm.
and Tunes is how you'd spell like tunes as in music, but
Yeah.
it's a
Plus the Looney Tunes, like with the double O's with Looney and in Tunes, just looks so good.
exactly.
Then we have Sex and the City or Sex in the City. Um, I always thought it was Sex and the City. I know it's Sex in the City though.
Yeah, I was just looking for the most popular Mandela effects for examples,
Yeah.
and I remember people talking about sex in the city, not and the city.
Mm. So is it An or in?
It's actually sex and
It
the
is?
city.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was. Okay, I was going backwards there because I'd always heard it as Sex and the City, and I thought it was Sex in the City. Okay. Then we
And
have. Oh wait, go ahead.
yeah, next we got Interview with the Vampire or Interview with a Vampire. And it's apparently always been Interview with the Vampire and not a Vampire. But I remember it Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I remember it with Interview with a Vampire. Never. It's a movie, right?
It's a book turned into a movie,
Okay, okay.
I believe.
Oh, then we have Pikachu's Tail, which this is one that me and Austin here have watched Pokemon for a long, long time. And I always remembered maybe not the full black tail on the left there, but I always remember there being some black or brown extra bit on the end. But apparently there was only at the very beginning of his tail a little bit of brown.
Yeah, right there on the base of the tail. But I do remember playing like Diamond, Pearl, Platinum close to God almost 20 years ago that Pikachu had at least a little bit of black on the tip of its tail.
Mm.
And I'm not sure if I'm the only one, but this is another Pokemon that I remember. I don't know if it affects you, but I remember Pharaoh C and Pharaoh Thorn having a middle evolution.
Now you see, I never used that Pokemon, so it's one of those things where like I can't picture a middle evolution, so I don't think I have that. No.
It might just be me then. But I distinctly remember there being like a third Pharaoh Pokemon that looked like Pharaoh Seed, but had like the things coming out of it like Pharaoh Thorn.
Hmm. Hey, there's another one. You found one.
I might just have. And then we've got theories on why the Mandela Effect exists. And the first one is false memory combined with a pinch of mass hysteria. And then the second one is people slipping into parallel universes where the only differences are minor, like the spelling of Berenstain Bears and Berenstein Bears, or Sex and the City, or versus Sex in the City, and so on.
Now, most likely, it's just false memories, whatever. But I do like the idea of like parallel universes kind of thing where like some people would accidentally slip into the other one. So like, but I don't feel like that's very likely, especially since there's so many people. I feel like maybe one person misremembering possibly could be parallel universes. A whole massive group of people, maybe not as much.
Exactly. But since apparently both of us have been affected by the Mandela effect, I tend to believe that it does exist. Now, is it probably more likely false memories combined with a little bit of mass hysteria? More than likely.
I
But
mean,
but I also think slipping into parallel universes is also awesome.
yep.
So I want to believe I slipped into parallel universes.
Gonna move on to our thoughts.
Yeah,
Okay.
and like I said, we both apparently have been affected. I think it's probably false memories, but parallel universes are awesome to think about.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, don't think it's actual parallel universes, just most likely mass hysteria. And like we've said, and like I've seen on the internet, there are many, many, many people that have at least one of these Mandela effects memories, of like false memories, I guess. Especially Pikachu's tail really bothers me, but then also the Berenstain to the Berenstein Bears. Then Fruit of the Loom. There's tons and tons of other Mandela Effect examples. Couldn't go over all of them, but yeah. And like you said, parallel universes. It's fun. It's a fun thought process to go through. It's like, oh, what if this one thing changed in the world? What would happen?
Exactly. But sadly, I don't think the Mandela effect is the supernatural thing exists. I think it's just humans have a flimsy memory bank.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
but if you disagree, drop a comment saying, "Hey, I believe in the Mandela effect is supernatural."
Well, that's the thing. The Mandela effect is a real thing because it's an explanation for something that is happening in our world, like the mass hysteria or whatever. So it is a thing. It just might not be parallel universes. It's probably just false memory. So it is a thing, just maybe not for the reason some people think.
Exactly. Like I believe in the Mandela effect. I just don't think it's paranormal or supernatural or in any way
Mm.
because flimsy memory banks, memories change every time you remember something. So, yeah. Think that's all we've got for this week. Any last words, Ethan?
Notice. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Well, next week we return to some true crime with the Zodiac Killer. So stay tuned for that. And we'll see you next week.
Yep. Bye, everyone.
You might wake up beside Spearfinger with an extended visit from Jack the Ripper. But if you're lucky, it'll be an angel on that range hill of Louisiana. You might meet Mary Laveau or the Rougarou. At Folklore Unlocked, Austin and Ethan concoct their theory of the eerie and unexplained around the world, sometimes even the underworld. The lore is locked behind secrets, but folklore is meant to be unlocked. The Sokaloo is haunting NC as well as Tennessee. There are many giants that might be clients of the Dark Watchers, who might have psychokinesis. And the phantom time hypothesis is like a phoenix, coming back around again and again. The laser strain on your brain if you've got more than 2 brain cells in you. Some believe McCartney is dead because they read into the Mandela Effect, which is subject to folklore.